Hey there. Today I will share about how breathing came to be important to me in my journey and why I still feel it is important. Um, in order to tell you about my journey with breathing, I will be telling a story about my past. And it feels important to say many details about the struggle and to not gloss over the struggle because the struggle is important. And I would like to disclaim that this video will not be for everyone. Um, I'm going to be talking about motherhood and how I came into maturity through being a mama primarily. There are other ways that I have found breathing to be important in my journey, but it feels like motherhood is the main one. And with that, the greatest challenge that I have had has been breastfeeding. And so I'll be talking a lot about breastfeeding. Might be too much information for some people. So I just wanted to let you know ahead of time that I am perfectly happy with you not resonating with this or choosing to view this video. And there is probably something in it for anyone who feels like they want to continue forward. So here we go. Okay. So when I was first pregnant, I had known that I wanted to do a home birth, and so I went to a natural childbirth class, and the class was telling me about the importance of breastfeeding and how it's the best thing that you can do if you can do it. It is giving a lot more nutrients and nourishment in the form of comfort to a newborn baby when formula can be hard to digest. I'm not judging anyone who doesn't do it, but I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try to do this, even though I knew nothing about it. And I did have a little bit of support through that class and through my midwife and my doulas. And I ended up going to La Leche League, but I will tell you that when I first had my baby and I was figuring out breastfeeding, it was the hardest thing that I'd ever done up to that point. There was a struggle with, I didn't really understand letdown or what letdown was. And I didn't know what being in the present moment was. I didn't know about breathing at all. And so it seemed easy enough for a moment when I was first breastfeeding my babe. But that first night, we ended up sleeping through the night. And then the next day, the midwife was like, "Oh, you weren't supposed to do that. You were supposed to wake up and feed every 2 hours." And then I feel like that got us off to a bad start right away. And I ended up having a baby who lost too many ounces or something like that. Like the weight wasn't right. And I was like, oh no. And I felt stressed right away. And so I was tracking so many things, tracking when I was like doing the feeding, the breastfeeding. I was tracking all the diapers and the pees and the poops and all that. And it was like it was really hard to go from not having any kids at all to like, boom, this is your life now. Just this little babe that is a whole precious life of its own. And you have to make sure it keeps living. And so I was like pumping with like breast pumps a lot. I was taking like fenugreek and supplements and trying to eat yeast and like oatmeal and all these things that people say to do to help with milk production. And my first babe was not gaining enough weight. And so I ended up going to a lactation consultant where a couple times with my first where they would weigh the baby before a feeding and then I would feed and they would like help me with how to hold my boob and how to hold the kid and everything. And then weigh the baby after to see how much milk they were getting. And I ended up needing to or feeling the need to through the advice around me and everything, supplementing with formula to help the baby gain weight. And my little boy, he was so sleepy. He just wanted to sleep a lot. So I had to wake him up a lot to feed. And then right after I would get him going, he would fall right asleep again. And so the whole time it was a kind of a struggle and I was supplementing with formula. And then I had to go to work and even more so, I had to supplement. I wasn't able to pump very much. I never had a big letdown or like the big milk production. And there were many possibilities of reasons. I kind of had a small chest, small breast size beforehand. Um, and I thought maybe that was it. My midwife thought maybe it had to do with the shape of my boobs. And there was just all these possibilities. And then I made it through. The baby was healthy. I was just so thankful when he was like 5 or 6 months old and he could eat solid food. And that was just really great. And then um fast forward to oh wait, no, there's another thing that happened that I want to say. So I was getting a massage when my baby was pretty small, like probably 3 to 4 months old. And um and the thing is the lady was like, "Oh yeah, you can bring your baby." And so I did, and she's like, he was crying, and she's like, "You can breastfeed him." So I breastfed him, and then like it wasn't working. He was really fussy, and I kept switching sides. And what she said to me is, "That's not right. It shouldn't be like that." And that like crushed me and it hurt my feelings. And I didn't know what it was about that. That was why it was bad, you know? I didn't know what it was like to not have it like that. It was always a struggle for me. And she had mentioned to me that she would always just have so much milk. And I noticed other people having extra milk. Hi, Story. And Mama, I'm so tired. Okay, come sit with me. And um, so then that was just one of those moments that was like painful, but I didn't know what to do with it, and she didn't offer any help at the moment, but she did do like a gentle massage that was just like soft touches, and it did seem to help. And I felt like maybe it was relaxing me, and that she called it a lymph massage. And so then I was like, okay, I put in my memory in my mind that a lymph massage might help. And I would do like gentle massages on myself to get the juices flowing, the milk flowing. And it did seem to help. And I would look at pictures of my kiddo while I was at work and pumping, and that would help too. I felt like emotions helped, but I never really found what was the true thing that would help me until my second kid, a couple years later, he was like, I don't know. 3 months or so. I don't remember exactly when this happened, but I was feeling the struggle again. And so I was like looking for someone to give me a lymph massage. And I called this lady who specialized in lymph massages. And I finally talked to her and she was like, a lymph massage is not for you. You don't want to do that when you're breastfeeding. And I was like, "Oh, okay," like, defeated again. And then it ended up, being the best thing ever. She talked to me and she's like, "Well, why do you want it?" And I told her about how I was having an issue with letdown and, like, having enough milk for my babe. And she's like, "Have you tried breathing? Like, just take really big, deep breaths into your chest and, feel the air expanding in your lungs and then relaxing your body." And it worked, like, instantly. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" All I had to do was breathe this whole time. I was holding my breath. I was just stressed. Can you believe I was relaxed at times, but, like, for a good portion of my first couple years of mothering, I was tense and, like, probably, like, you know, like just, like, holding and being full of tension or tightness. So, anyways, that was a big, big breakthrough for me, and then let me see, what is the next thing? Oh, so then fast forward again to the 3rd child. I was pregnant and I had a back injury where I pulled a muscle in a back. When I jumped into a swimming pool, it was like too shorter than I thought it would be or something like that, and I tweaked something and it hurt. I think I fell and I just had, like, my back out for days, and then, I was going to a chiropractor, and they allowed me to come to their house because I was in so much pain. I could barely breathe, and I didn't wanna walk at all, and he had me lay down on a chiropractor table, and I was laying on my stomach with, like, a whole thing, and he said, "Okay, now breathe as big as you can, um, like you're breathing to your feet." And so I did, and he had me do it a few times. And then afterwards, after he adjusted me and helped me, I was like, "Why were you asking me to breathe? Like, what was the reason for that?" And he said, "Because when you're in pain, you breathe to that spot. It shows where you're holding on to things, and that breath flows better when you're not in pain." And so I was like, "Oh, wow. Okay." So I that's when I learned breath is healing. So then I would breathe deeper and breathe into that pain spot and try to breathe beyond it. And it was really helpful. And it's been helpful for everything since then. Anytime I have any pain. And then then I found this book called The Miracle of Mindfulness. And it taught me how to breathe by counting my breath in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then counting my breath out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and trying to breathe out more than you're breathing in to fully release from your lungs. And then each time, breathe for longer to increase your capacity to breathe, like going up to 10 or more if you can. And you just count silently while you're breathing in, and then you kind of just hold and then breathe out fully, releasing everything. And so uh that in that I learned that breath is related to awareness and consciousness. And so when we're not breathing fully, like we're breathing shallow, it's like we're not even really aware of what's happening. I don't know if I can explain it very well, but it's like breath is our mind's bridge to consciousness, I feel like, is like a quote from that book or something. So it's just like giving you more awareness in everything that you do. If you are aware of your breath in your actions, you're aware of what's happening more. So it's just like increasing mindfulness. And so I was like, that's really cool. And it felt good to breathe. And then I realized, rewind back to before I had kids, my first and main anxiety attack I ever had. It wasn't like bad, but I noticed that my chest was like tight and painful. And I felt like hard to breathe. And I was like, what's going on? I looked it up with Dr. Google and I found it's anxiety. And I was like, okay, what is anxiety? I don't know what it is. Oh, it's fear. And so I'm like, okay, what am I afraid of? And at the time, um, I had just gotten a really great job where I didn't have to do very much of anything. I was a radiographer taking x-rays at a doctor's office, and there were maybe two x-rays a day, sometimes 10, never more than 15. And I was there for 8 to 9 hours, and I got a lot of free time to do whatever I wanted. But it felt scary because I was used to working hard and like go 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 do my whole life. Like you have to be moving, you have to be doing things. And it was the first time that I didn't have to be doing anything and I was paid to just chill and hold space. I was like, whoa. So once I figured out what I was afraid of, like I was afraid that I would get in trouble if I wasn't doing anything or what, like I don't know. And then it just went away. But I did notice at the time that it was hard to breathe, and if I could slow my breathing down and push it, I could calm down and breathe. But it went on for like, I don't know, maybe a week before I figured it out, where it was like a painful constriction feeling. And so I just wanted to go back and note that. And then later I realized that breathing is very helpful for anxiety. And looking back, it did help me. And then I realized every time I ever have any pain, I breathe into the pain and I bring my awareness with my breath to the pain. And it seems to help. It's like the body is saying, hey, look at me. Hey, give me attention. And then when I breathe and I give it energy and I give it attention, it really does help. So that is what it is. And I've tried to tell people. I've been in a lot of like groups with women that are breastfeeding and they have a hard time and the supplements don't work and they can't figure it out and they're like, I want to quit, but I want to keep breastfeeding. I want to just give up and do formula. And I'm like, you just gotta breathe. You just gotta relax. And it's just not something our society really puts a lot of emphasis on or talks about a lot, at least not in my sphere that I have been growing up in or being in. And now I'm really glad to give that to my kids. I noticed my youngest is potty training, and when she goes to go to the bathroom on the toilet, she'll like clench up and she'll like push and like be hard with it. And I'm like, relax and breathe. She's not there to listen to me about it yet, but it's nice to see that that is what it is. And I think a lot of our life, we just need to relax and breathe, and everything will unfold. So that's what I've been noticing. That's how breathing came to be important to me and why it is still important. It feels healing, it feels nourishing, it feels like it increases my focus, it relaxes me. So many things. I hope this has been helpful for you to hear my journey about breathing. And ever since I learned how to breathe during breastfeeding, I never had to use formula again, ever. And it's been amazing. And I never pumped again, really, either. I tried a couple times because I was like, oh, maybe I'll do a date night or something, but it didn't really take. I didn't like the pumping. And thankfully, my husband is very patient and kind. And he's been okay to let the kids just go along with everything, and it's been really nice. So, thank you for that, and yeah, I think that's pretty much all I gotta say about this. So, I hope you enjoyed this, and again, for those that don't know me, my name is Sam, and thank you for hanging out here in Mama Nature Inspired. Have a beautiful, blessed day.